If you're in a marriage that is unhealthy or unhappy, those might be times where you should look at getting a divorce. I remember sitting across the table in a four-way meeting where it was me, my client, the opposing counsel, and the other client. And I'm looking at the two parties, and they can't stand each other. I could see the dagger shooting out where they just despised the other side. I set it as part of my goal within my life to figure out, if we can't make marriage work, how do we help the marriage end prior to those emotions coming forth? Because that situation isn't good for either of them as well as their children. It's horrible for their children. So if you're even in a happy relationship, maybe you've been cheated on, maybe there's a lot of fighting, that might be a situation where you want to head towards divorce and get that process started before you hang on too long and anger, resentment, jealousy, hatred comes out, because that is what makes the divorce process horrible, and that is the process that destroys your children's future. If you're finding yourself in a situation where you're just unhappy, but maybe your marriage isn't toxic, it's not unhealthy, that might be a period where you don't want to start looking for a divorce, but instead, first, you want to start looking at, what can I do to improve my own life, to get back on track with feeling fulfilled? And if you're able to do that and you're able to come together with your partner, that's something that could actually make your marriage stronger and keep you from having to call a divorce attorney like me. In Massachusetts, we have something called a complaint for separate support. Now, it sounds like legal separation, but it's not. It will basically take you through every single issue that you would have to work through if you were getting a divorce, but it still keeps your marriage intact. Now, a lot of times we have people come in because they don't feel that they're ready to actually finalize the divorce process and actually move forward there, so they want a separation. We can do that, but if the other party moves forward and actually files the divorce will trump. That is an alternative to getting a divorce if your culture or your religion prohibits you from doing so. If you know that you're going to move forward and file for divorce, one of the first things we ask our clients is, you know your spouse way better than we do. How do you think they're going to react? Now, if they're going to react and you think maybe they're going to be upset, but it's not going to be the end of the world, that might open the door for us to be able to come in and have a conversation with them to see if maybe we can avoid filing in the first place. Maybe we're able to work together to come to an uncontested divorce before filing. If you're in a situation where you're not sure how your spouse is going to react, maybe you're afraid they're going to withdraw everything from your bank account, or they're going to take your kids and run, or worst case scenario, they're going to get really upset and then you potentially have a domestic violence situation on your hands. If that's the case, that might be something you do not want to tell your spouse about at all. And you do want to work with your attorney to make sure that you're protected during that process. But more basic, understand your financial situation. Be prepared to actually move forward. Other things to think about when you know that you're going to head towards a divorce is, how do I protect my privacy? How do I ensure that my spouse is not getting into my email so that they can see the communication between me and my attorney? So change your passwords. Be careful what you're posting on social media. Be careful what you're putting into text messages. So those are all things that you want to think about to ensure that your divorce goes as smoothly as possible. If you're in a situation where you're contemplating, is this a time that I should get divorced? Now, although I'm a divorce attorney and I've been accused of selling divorce, I actually am somebody who truly does believe in marriage and the sanctity of marriage. And if we're not hearing an unhealthy relationship, we definitely will guide you through, is this something that you should work through? Now, at the end of the day, your life, your decision, and we'll respect that. But we're not just going to sell you a divorce because that's what we do. If you're contemplating that, feel free to give us a call. We will work with you to ensure that your goals are being met.